All right, let's dive into a song that's really kind of shaking up country music.
Yeah.
Maybe a song you haven't heard, but it's definitely making some waves.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take a look at Ryan Upchurch.
Oh,
Real Country, that's the song.
Real Country.
And he's an independent artist.
Mm-hmm.
And this song, it's kind of like he bottled up all the feelings some country fans have about like where country music's at today.
Yeah.
And just poured it all out into this like anthem.
It's interesting because he's really not subtle about it.
No.
You know, he's drawing a line in the sand from like the first verse.
Oh, yeah, right away. Like the opening lines, it's like a movie montage,
Yeah.
Harleys and dodging bullets and tattoo. Like, it's very in your face.
And that's the point, right? Like he's going for that lifestyle, that rugged individualism that he sees as true country.
Yeah.
And he's tapping into that outlaw country tradition, like Waylon Jennings, David Allan Coe.
Of course.
But then he name drops Chris LeDoux, who is this rodeo legend turned music. It's like he's connecting working class grit with the rebellious spirit of outlaw country.
Yeah.
You know, and saying like, this is what real country is made of.
So it's deeper than just looking the part, right?
Right.
Because he goes on to describe what real country means, and it gets pretty specific.
Oh, yeah. It's not just like the boots and the hat.
Oh.
It's like you've got to live it. It's whiskey-soaked nights, scars that tell a story, worn-out boots. He's saying you got to have lived a certain kind of life.
Yeah.
One that's rough around the edges, full of hard work and hard living.
Okay.
And he's contrasting that with what he sees as that polished, almost pop-influenced country.
Yeah, you can really hear that frustration, almost like an anger in his voice when he talks about a way of life that's getting erased,
Yeah.
Dixieland pride fading away.
Yeah, and that's a good point to bring up because he's not just like celebrating this music.
Right.
He's mourning the loss of something he sees as essential to country music. It's like he feels this responsibility to preserve real country before it disappears completely. And, you know, that feeling of loss, I think a lot of country fans, even if they aren't into Upchurch, they can kind of connect with that feeling.
Totally. Like, even if you don't agree with every single part of what he's saying,
Yeah.
that feeling that something's being lost,
Yeah.
that country music is getting away from its roots, it's pretty widespread.
Oh, absolutely. And he is tapping into that sentiment.
Yeah.
Like, there's a group of fans that feel like their version of country is being ignored.
Yeah.
Or even worse, like actively erased.
Right.
He's not the only one.
No.
He even mentions another independent artist, Creed Fisher, who's known for that traditional sound. So it's like a movement pushing back against the mainstream.
So we've got this rebellious spirit, this sense of loss, this like push for authenticity.
Yeah.
But what makes Upchurch's take on real country stand out?
I think what makes it stand out is the defiance. He's not just complaining. He's like actively challenging it, you know? Like there's a line where he says, tell him, talk that shit. To me, it means nothing. Like daring the mainstream to try and put him in a box.
He's not asking permission. He's doing his own thing.
Exactly.
And that down-home twang he talks about, he owns it.
Yeah.
He's not trying to fit in. He's like celebrating what makes him different.
And I think that's refreshing for a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
Especially the ones who are tired of that same old sound, that same polished production.
Right.
Upchurch is raw, unfiltered. He's not afraid to be himself.
Yo.
And that resonates with people who are looking for something real.
But is it all about being a lone wolf? Because there's a shift in the song that I think is important.
Okay.
It starts with that I perspective, like it's his own personal thing.
But then it becomes more, right, like let's explore that shift. What do those lyrics tell you about where he's going with this whole real country idea?
Yeah, it becomes less about him and more about building a community.
Okay.
Like in the last chorus, he goes from, I'm only speaking for real country, to we're leaving out respected by any means. Yeah. It's a call to action.
Oh, wow. Yeah, like come with me.
Right.
All you people who feel the same way.
Exactly. If you're tired of what's on the radio, if you want something real, you're not alone, you know?
This is for you.
This is for you.
It's bigger than just liking a certain song, though, right?
Right.
It's almost like a mission statement.
It's about legacy.
Yeah.
And it's not just the music, it's the values preserving this way of life that he feels is under threat.
That's powerful.
It is, especially for people who feel like their values aren't represented anymore.
Okay, let's be real, though, for a second.
Sure.
When you're a mainstream country fan, and you hear Outlaw Country.
Hmm.
Or you see the imagery he uses, like the trucks, the guns,
Yeah.
even the Confederate flag sometimes.
It can be a turnoff.
Absolutely.
How do you explain that disconnect?
Well, for Upchurch and his fans, those symbols represent heritage.
Okay.
And a connection to a way of life, a rebellion against authority. But for others, they can be associated with some darker parts of history.
Of course.
Like racism and exclusion, and it's important to acknowledge those concerns.
So how do we reconcile these different perspectives? Because I feel like these conversations get shut down before they can even begin.
Yeah, and it takes a willingness to listen on both sides.
Okay.
To understand where people are coming from, even if you don't agree.
Right.
And just recognizing that symbols can be complex and they mean different things to different people.
Yeah.
What matters is that we don't just dismiss anyone's experience.
So even if someone's initial reaction to Upchurch is negative,
Right.
they still might find something worthwhile if they look a little deeper.
Yeah, I think that's what makes this whole deep dive so interesting. It's about challenging our preconceived notions, being open to different perspectives, recognizing that real country can mean something different to everyone.
And maybe find some common ground in unexpected places.
Exactly.
Now, you mentioned that Upchurch is part of a movement, a shift in how country music is made and consumed.
Yeah.
What do mainstream country fans need to know about that?
Yeah, it feels like independent artists are really having a moment.
Yeah.
And not just in country music, like across all genres.
It's true.
Is there something about how Upchurch is doing things that kind of speaks to this bigger trend?
Well, he's a perfect example of how you can bypass the whole traditional music industry.
Okay.
And connect directly with fans.
Yeah.
Social media has been huge for him.
Right.
He's built a massive following.
Yeah.
Just by being himself, being relatable, talking about things his fans care about.
So it's not just the music, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
The personality, the lifestyle, the connection.
That's the whole package.
Yeah.
He's created a whole world around his music.
A community that shares his values, his sense of humor, his view on life.
Yeah.
And that's appealing to a lot of people.
For sure.
More than just some manufactured image.
Right. And for those mainstream country fans who are maybe a little hesitant to kind of jump into this world.
Sure.
What's the one thing you'd tell them about Upchurch's music?
Honestly, it's the energy.
Yeah.
He's got this raw, unfiltered passion.
Yeah.
It's contagious, even if you don't like every song. You can't deny the intensity.
Yeah.
And there's a real sense of fun, too. He doesn't take himself too seriously,
Right.
which makes him relatable, even when he's dealing with serious topics.
So it's kind of like an invitation to broaden your horizons a bit.
Yeah.
Step outside that comfort zone.
Exactly.
Explore a different side of country music.
Yeah, you might even find your new favorite artist. Or at least you'll understand what's happening in country music beyond the radio.
So to wrap things up here, what's the lasting impact of a song like Real Country? Is it just a fad, or is it something bigger?
I think Upchurch tapped into something that's not going away. That desire for authenticity, for something real, music that speaks to everyday people, that's powerful.
For sure.
Whether you agree with his definition or not,
Right.
It's a conversation worth having.
He's shown that people really want something different.
Yeah.
Artists that challenge the rules and make music on their own terms.
Absolutely.
So if you're curious,
Yeah.
if you feel like something's missing in your playlist, give Real Country a listen.
You might be surprised.
Yeah.
You might discover a whole new world of music.
And that's what this deep dive is all about, right?
Yeah.
Expanding your horizons,
Absolutely.
challenging your assumptions, maybe discovering your new favorite thing.
Exactly.
So go explore and let us know what you find.